لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Hello and welcome to another edition of the program As You Answer the Call, a public enlightenment presentation on the activities of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON. I am Fatima Umaru Hadija, your guide on the program. Tonight, we continue with our review of the Hajj Development Levy, focusing on how it all started and of course the objective that informed its establishment. In other words, we'll be looking at the scheme from a historical perspective as well as highlight its impact on Hajj exercises across the country. This will be our topic in our Spotlight segment as we also bring you discussions on another key pillar of Hajj and Umrah, that is Sa'i, the walk between the mountains of Safa and Marwa. We shall also have our regular segment, the News Diary, in which we highlight activities involving the chairman of the Hajj Commission, other functionaries and stakeholders. Stay tuned for the details of these and more after the break. Thanks for being there. We now begin the program with the News Diary as presented from our studio. As part of efforts to ensure early preparations for the 2020 Hajj exercise, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has constituted an ad hoc committee to oversee and scrutinize the licensing process of service providers for the 2020 Hajj exercise. Inaugurating the committee at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja, NAHCON Acting Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Muhammad highlighted the key functions of the committee.
To collect the list of all the applicants that applied to render services to Nigerian pilgrims in Mecca for accommodation, Medina for accommodation, Mecca feeding, Medina feeding, and Mashair feeding. Evaluate their document to see that they have met the standard requirement as contained in the advert and also in our feeding accommodation guideline.
Barrister Mukhtar Mohammed called on the members of the committee to discharge their responsibilities judiciously, saying that the online nature of the process makes it transparent. The committee, headed by NAHCON Director of Internal Audit Muhammad Haman Juda, has its members drawn from NAHCON, state boards and the FCT. In the meantime, NAHCON and One Ummah Islamic Organization have agreed to work together to promote the virtues of Islam, particularly as they relate to Hajj. The decision to this effect was taken when the president of the One Ummah Organization, Abubakar Sadiq Muhammad, paid a courtesy visit to NAHCON Acting Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Muhammad at Hajj House in Abuja.
So I want to assure you that on our part, we will support you and we'll work together for the success of not only this conference, but even the ones that will come up in future. And possibly we'll see areas of coming up with activities that will promote the understanding of Hajj in a more simple form, particularly addressing the non-Muslim audience. I believe there are a lot of lessons in Hajj that non-Muslims can also appreciate.
One thing we know for sure that is also important to us achieving all of these themes is one of the pillars of our faith, and that is Hajj. Hajj is a core for any Muslim, every believer that has the means to perform it, as we know from the Sunnah Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he spoke about the pillars of the faith. The Hajj Commission as a body is set up to regulate this pillar of our faith. And this pillar is what would also enable us to achieve two great things. One, being better Muslims, and two, perfecting our life in the hereafter.
The host and his guests also discussed other issues, such as the benefits associated with Hajj savings scheme, among others. In a related development, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, in collaboration with AI Global Concept, have carried out a medical outreach program for NAHCON staff. This took place at the conference room of the Hajj House, Abuja, during a two-day workshop on stress management, prevention and control of hypertension and diabetes. It was on Thursday, the 21st of November 2019. Speaking at the occasion, NAHCON Acting Chairman Barrister Abdullah Mukhtar Muhammad, represented by the Commission's Director of Administration and Human Resources, Dr. Ibrahim Sodengi, said the training is to enhance the capacity of staff on how to manage their health efficiently.
The leadership is concerned about training and retraining. This is one of the major objectives. The leadership believes that when you have a trained personnel, then you expect higher productivity, efficiency and effectiveness in terms of performance.
Earlier in his remarks, Head of AI Global Concept Ibrahim Abdullahi underscored the importance of the training to NAHCON staff.
At this workshop, we shall inshallah create awareness in you on how to reduce, prevent and cope with stress, as well as how to sustain your good health for a long life. As creatures of God, we shall die one day, but what is important is to live in this world with sound health before death comes on the appointed time of God.
With this one focused on senior staff, NAHCON had in the past organized a similar workshop and medical outreach for its junior staff. Alhamdulillah, if you are just tuning in, the program is As You Answer the Call, which keeps you abreast of happenings in the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, and Hajj-related matters. Coming next is Spotlight, the new title for the main segment of the program. Tonight, we continue with the review of the concept of the Hajj Development Levy, this time from a historical perspective. We will also touch on the objectives and the people behind it at inception. Stay tuned for the details.
Over the years, every Hajj operation in Nigeria has its peculiar challenges, even when huge successes are recorded. It is these peculiarities that prompted Hajj officials to design the means through which the operations can be improved from time to time. The formative era of Pilgrims' affairs was bedeviled with many problems. These problems had direct bearing on Hajj operations, leading to more government involvement and intervention. The interventions led to the establishment of a Pilgrims' Welfare Agency in 1965, which was saddled with the responsibility for the collection of Hajj fares, arranging for passports, issuance of tickets, and obtaining visas, among others. A former governor of Katsina State and one-time Hajj official during President Shehu Shagari's administration, Alhaji Saeed Barda, recalls that era. Though different with what obtains now in terms of operational modalities, Hajj work, he said, is a challenging task at all times, requiring hard work and dedication.
The whole operation is challenging, but if you put your face and mind together and you work hard, because it's very important, you work hard day and night, you will make very good success.
Changes in government and the policies of government, as well as other extraneous factors, could affect Hajj operations, especially when it comes to the provision of funds. In the light of this, previous Hajj leaders came up with strategies to overcome these challenges, one of which is the creation of the Hajj Development Levy.
We tried to bring in a lot of things, because at the time we came in, first of all, it was a year that we are trying to give a new hope, a new face to the issues of Hajj in Nigeria. Noting that in 1996, a year just before we came in, there was an episode which was governmental, and it almost affected the relationship between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. And also that was external. Internally also we had some little problem within the Hajj mission, of which the task force, the presidential task force, had to be dissolved, and the exercise, the powers which they were exercising were now vested into us to come and really get things better. So one of the things that we have done, many other things, but one of them was also introducing the Hajj levy.
The key people that developed something through such arrangement started with the late Sheikh Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi. People like former governor of Katsina, Laji Barda, did a lot also in this direction. They also thought and then started development levy. And finally, during the first tenure, the first board of the National Hajj Commission, under the chairmanship of Muhammad Musa Bello, now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, thought of also reactivating the same system or the same idea.
The Development Levy Fund is meant to cater for Hajj management and pilgrims' welfare, as well as ensure that Hajj operations are undertaken with less dependence on government for funds.
The whole thing is there to augment and to prepare for the rainy day. And in this case, because of the importance of it, even when the stakeholder took the decision, then they tie it with a condition. The usage of the funds must be for Hajj and pilgrims alone.
Development levy, like the name connotes, development levy. You have a lot of things to do with the money, in terms of development. If you are able to produce, build a Hajj Commission headquarters in Abuja, you can as well go to states to build their offices, one after the other, until you are able to get all offices.
The Hajj Development Levy Fund is not only used for the rehabilitation of Hajj camps across the country, but also utilized for public enlightenment programs for pilgrims, amongst other things. For the benefit of pilgrims, NAHCON is currently sponsoring Hajj programs on different radio stations across the country. The programs are carefully designed and produced in English and other local languages like Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Fulfulde, Kanuri, and Pidgin as well. And this very program you are watching. All these are aimed at creating awareness for pilgrims through the use of the Development Levy Fund. With regards to the rehabilitation of Hajj camps, NAHCON has completed some projects and others are ongoing. For instance, event halls are being constructed in the following places: Abuja, Sokoto, Lagos, and Yola. The construction of clinics is taking place in Kano and Abuja, while that of fencing of Hajj camps is taking place in Kwara, Jigawa, and Kano. Mosques are being built in the following camps: Kaduna, Sokoto, Yola. Similarly, boreholes are being sunk in Kaduna and Sokoto, while toilets are also sited in Kaduna and Borno. In Katsina State, there is a general renovation of its Hajj camp. The projects for hotel accommodation are in Borno, Gombe, Kano, Sokoto, Yola and the FCT. The Hajj Development Levy is taken seriously by NAHCON, especially now that the Commission is striving to attain operational and financial autonomy.
You are still watching As You Answer the Call. Coming next is Making the Hajj and Umrah, the new platform for the discussion of the religious components of Hajj and Umrah. Tonight, we are focusing on another key pillar of Hajj and Umrah, that is the walk between Mount Safa and Marwa, or otherwise known as Sa'i. Imam Yaqub Al-Hassan is our guest and will be taking us through the discussions. Stay tuned.
Walking between the mountains of Safa and Marwa, otherwise known as Sa'i, is one of the pillars of Hajj and Umrah. How and when are pilgrims expected to perform this rite? Should they start with Safa or Marwa? What supplications are pilgrims expected to make when performing the Sa'i? Tonight on Making the Hajj, Imam Yaqub Al-Hassan answers these and other questions. He begins by explaining Safa and Marwa.
Sa'i technically refers to the movement of a pilgrim from the hill of Safa to the hill of Marwa 7 times, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded in the Holy Quran, Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah, faman hajjal bayta aw itamara fala junaha alayhi an yatawafa bihima waman tadawwa khairan fa inna Allaha shakirun alim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the pilgrims, whoever is on Umrah rites or Hajj, performing Hajj, is prescribed for him to perform Sa'i. In Hajj and Umrah, Sa'i is a pillar.
When are pilgrims expected to perform Safa and Marwa, and which one are they supposed to begin with?
After the Tawaf, then a pilgrim is expected to proceed. After the 2 rak'ats, after drinking Zamzam, then to climb, following the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. It was reported that when the Prophet ﷺ completed his tawaf, he climbed, he started from Safa. He climbed the hill of Safa, and he turned and faced Kaaba, and he raised up his hand and he supplicates toward the Kaaba. He started by doing takbir, Allahu Akbar, and he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, La ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Abda'u bima bada Allahu bihi. I will begin from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began with. That is inna safa wal marwata. So it is, one must follow the real procedure. You have to start from Safa.
How many times are pilgrims expected to walk between Safa and Marwa?
You move from Safa to Marwa. It is about 450 meters. Putting the 7, then you are expected to go. Movement to Marwa, you will count as 1. Some pilgrims here, I would like to call the attention of some pilgrims, used to go and come back thinking that it is like the Tawaf, that they will count going and come back as 1. No, going is 1, coming back is 2. Then you go 3, you come back 4, you go 5, when you come back 6. So when you start from Safa, you will find yourself, after completing the 7th one, you will find yourself in Marwa.
Located at the valley of Safa and Marwa is the use of the green lights. What do the lights signify?
Whenever you come across, moving from Safa, you come to the first marker. There is on the ground, and by your right hand side you see a green light. Then you will start. If you are a man, a male, will move, it will jog between that 2 green lights. Then after that, you continue walking. While walking, you are expected to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to supplicate, to recite Al-Quran, to ask for Allah's favor and bounties here and hereafter.
What is the status of a pilgrim who did not perform the sa'i?
So many scholars are of the opinion, such as Ibn Abbas, Ibn Jabir, Aisha radiallahu anha, including Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Abu Hanifa, are of the opinion that sa'i is a pillar, an essential aspect of Hajj and Umrah. So without sa'i, Umrah or Hajj is not complete. And therefore, but some scholars are of the opinion that it is wajib or sunnah mu'akkada, is sunnah. So therefore, they are of the opinion that something like sacrifice, penalty, in the absence when one is not able to complete his sa'i for a reason, acceptable reason by Islam, some scholars are of the opinion he is to slaughter a sheep as a penalty for that.
Imam Yaqub al-Hassan advises pilgrims to acquaint themselves with the knowledge of Hajj and Umrah, as well as imbibe the teachings of Islam.
MashaAllah. Now to our next segment, the quiz, which is specifically designed to test the knowledge of our viewers on Hajj and Umrah matters, as well as Islam generally. In this outing, we shall name the winner of last week's edition and then pose the question for this week. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the quiz segment. Our question last week was, what are the pillars of Umrah? The correct answer is Ihram, or declaration of intention, Tawaf, or circumambulation of the Kaaba, and walk between the two mountains of Safa and Marwa. The winner of last week's quiz is Saka Abdul Latif from Ilorin, Kwara State. He provided the answer ahead of others. Saka Abdul Latif will be contacted on how NAHCON will get his prize across to him. For this week, the question is, mention 3 rites that differentiate Hajj from Umrah. I repeat, mention 3 rites that differentiate Hajj from Umrah. Text your answers to the number showing on your screen. The winner will be the first person whose correct answer is received. All answers should carry name and location of sender. Good luck and happy viewing.
That's it on this week's edition of the program As You Answer the Call. Join me same time next week for another package. Good night and thank you for watching.
إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك